Hello everyone, I'm Anakin Blitz coming back for another World of Tanks Blitz video. Today we'll be talking about the Uprising game mode, which has just returned into World of Tanks Blitz this week. And starting off, I'm just going to be showing some replays along with going over a few tips on Uprising and explaining how this game mode works for those of you that are either new to World of Tanks Blitz or don't exactly know how Uprising works, and I'll also be kind of giving my opinion on the Uprising game mode. So starting off, this is really exciting for me and for most Blitz players because this is one of my favorite game modes in the game, and I would say that it is my second favorite game mode next to Gravity mode, and that's probably the same for most other players in Blitz. So why is this game mode so fun and unique? Well, it's just really unique to anything else, and it just really is a crazy game mode because basically how it works is every single tank is given some starter abilities, and they're based on the tank class basically. So there's some tanks that have there's like heavies that have either a play dead mode that or ability that lets you basically fake dead, and ones that let you turn tanks enemy tanks around. And medium tanks have different abilities. Lights and TDs, they all have their own little abilities, so it's a really fun thing. Now, not only that, and this is the part that I like way more than Mad Games, and what makes it really fun is the fact that in game you can get newer abilities depending on your not sure what they call it, but those little red eye droplet looking droplet things on the left side, whatever those things are. The more you get, let you get more abilities, which is really fun because you're able to get a bunch of different unique abilities, including ones that increase your average damage per shot, your reload time, and some other abilities that are a little more unique. So, they give overall, so you can see Jagged Shell, Supernatural Power, Inferno, and you get those little droplet things over time just by how long you survive in battles. So, this is just a replay here in the Sheridan by me yesterday in Uprising. It's not a crazy, insane damage game, but it's a pretty decent damage game that you'll see in the end. So, now what's also really unique about the Uprising game mode is the fact that you have 3 lives total, so you're able to relive and respawn after each death until you have 3 deaths, then you're over. So that means that you're able to get a crazy, insane amount of damage per game, which also converts into XP and credits, which is why this game mode is the best game mode for earning credits and XP in battle, which makes it good for grinding tanks. So if you're ever thinking of grinding some painful lines, for example, the STB1, the FV2 and 5B183, or other lines like that, this is the time to do it because you will get a crazy amount of credits and XP to grind faster, which means that you will also be able to credit grind faster using premium vehicles in games. So, I respawned again, so you can see this is my final life, and I already lived 2 lives in this, or I think, yeah, 2 lives, this is my 3rd life, in this game. So, you can see that you're able to rack up a crazy amount of damage. I'm at 2k damage, and this is actually not really a crazy damage game, but my final life in this game, I'm going to start racking up the damage. So, the Sheridan's a really fun tank to play in this mode because, it's just really fun because you have the mobility, you're able to get around and just like spam missiles on people. You have the big alpha, which can basically become like a crazy amount. You'll have like a crazy like 700 damage per shot when you have those jagged shells, and you'll get your reload down. It doesn't have good DPM on the Sheridan, but when you get those abilities, then you're able to increase your DPM crazy, and that's basically one of the only things that this tank lacks other than penetration. Another really nice thing about the Sheridan is the fact that, right, you can see on that ET110E5 is it has the ability that lets you basically, I forgot what it's called, blood trail, I think, and when you activate it on an enemy tank, it makes it so that every like meter that the enemy tank moves, they lose hit points, making them basically have to stop moving if they don't want to lose HP, which is basically like effectively tracking the enemy, except you don't have to actually fire a single shot. So that can become really useful in a lot of situations. So now basically all I'm doing right now is just cleaning up the enemy tanks. You can see on the top area, which is one thing that you should always be paying attention to in-game, is how many lives your team has and how many lives the enemy team has. You can see that our team has 12 lives and the enemy team has 7 lives, which is good for us because that means that we're ahead on not only hit points and overall lives, which means that the enemy's going to have to catch up a little if they want to win this battle. So And those droplet things just show how much that you're gonna get. So this is already my final life, so I can't really do anything with that. But if you're in like your first or second life, you can basically see what kind of abilities you can get. So if you die with like 400 of them, that means that if you were to get an Inferno, for example, which is my favorite one, then you'll be able to get the Inferno and equip it onto your tank. So some different abilities that you can get are my favorite abilities are the Inferno, the Jagged Shells, the Rapid Fire, and the Supernatural Powers. And it's really right now I have let me undo the tab. Okay. There we go. Wait, hold on. There we go. So you can see I have Supernatural Power 1, Jagged Shells 2, and Rapid Fire 1. And the 1 and 2 ones, basically the only difference. Oh, you can see a nice missile trick shot on that flash. But basically, the two abilities have more, like, what do you call it? More percentage of change. So, for example, like the Jagged Shells 2, I think does 40% more damage per shot, and the Jagged Shells 1 does like 20% more damage per shot. So, either way, they both help your tank a lot, and you can see that you can just really be OP whenever you're playing like this. So now I'm going to talk about what are my favorite base abilities, the starter abilities that you get, and for each tanks. So the starter abilities are the ones that equipped from the start of the game. These are abilities that you will always have with you, and they appear in the lower right corner right below your consumables, and they have a cooldown of around, I'm pretty sure it's like 20 or 30 seconds. And so what are the different starter abilities for different types of tanks? So first of all, let's go to heavy tanks. So the and I'll also tell you some things that a lot of people don't know, but and it can be really useful for Uprising though. So heavy tanks are kind of divided into two classes for Uprising. There's the lighter, more mobile heavy tanks, and there's the more heavy heavy tanks. So for example, like Mouse's E100s, Tiger 2s will be on the more heavier side, and you have like IS-7s, IS-3s, and tanks like that. K91s will be on the more lighter heavy side. So the lighter heavy side gets the ability that lets you fake dead. So I'll show you now. I'm not sure how many people know about this, but I discovered it, and I think it's basically true for everything. So the lighter heavies, or like the faster heavies, or whatever you call it, like the IS-7, the K91 have, and like the IS heavies in the lower tiers, like the not the Object 252, but was it the IS-3? I'm pretty sure the WZ Celestial has it also. Fake dead, play dead. So what it does is it basically makes you look dead, which means that the enemy thinks that you're dead. But even if they know that you're alive, then the thing is, when they shoot one shot, that shot is wasted, and it's an automatic ricochet, which means that you won't take damage. This can be really useful if you're coming up against an enemy TD that has a high average damage per shot. You can really, that can really save you from a big hit. So the heavier heavies, so like the Mouse, the even the IS-4 and the Object 252, some of the heavier heavies in the game have the Dust Devil, which is also a really strong ability. This one lets you turn enemy vehicles around into a random direction, making them basically, it gets super annoying when you're just about to fire a shot and you get turned around and then you shoot in the wrong direction. It happens so many times, but it really helps out. So both of these can basically help you out against, for example, you run into an enemy FB215B183 aiming straight at you. The play dead will make it so that your shot, their shot does no damage to you, and the Dust Devil will just turn them around so that they'll either waste their shot in a random direction or they'll have to turn around and you can farm damage. Both are really strong, but in my opinion, the Dust Devil is a little better because you're able to turn people around and track them, perma-track them, or get size. For example, there's like a tank that you can't penetrate on the front. Let's say like a T110E3. You can just flip that tank around and then you'll have plenty of shots into the rear of that tank. Whereas the play dead can also work out too, but it's not as useful because just one single shot or even a ram can reset your play dead and then you'll just get farmed off of again. So for medium tanks, what are the abilities for medium tanks? Now I'm going to actually get into more replays to show you guys because I don't want to make things too boring. So let's watch a Dracula replay here in Uprising as well. So the medium tank abilities, these are for medium tanks, the Dracula and a lot of other medium tanks. I'm not sure how the medium tanks are exactly sorted, but I'm pretty sure how it's sorted is by also like the lighter class mediums. The Dracula obviously being one of them, and I'm pretty sure the Leopard, let me see, so this ability that the Dracula has is the time jump ability, and this is a really strong ability, and in my opinion the stronger medium ability, because this ability makes it so that if you get nuked from a TD, or if you lose hit points, or if you're in a bad situation, you hit the time jump and you will go back in time 5 seconds in the past. I'm pretty sure it's 5 seconds, yeah. Which means that it's super useful. For example, if you get stuck in a situation, like a position where you can't exactly back up in time, just turn on the time jump and then you'll get back 5 seconds in the past. If you lose hit points, like right there, then watch this. He just repaired all of those 1,000 hit points that he lost just with the time jump there. And that really is OP when you get nuked by a TD. It really is OP. So this is, in my opinion, the most OP ability in medium tanks. Now, the other ability is the invisible one. And that is the ability that you get right at the start. Right when you spawn, that's one thing I forgot to mention, but in Uprising matches, right when you spawn, then you get that ability for, like, I'm pretty sure it's 20 seconds. And basically what the ability does is it makes you invisible. That's what the T-54 Lightweight just used right now. It makes you invisible, and it makes you go slightly faster. So basically what it does is you can reposition with it and go behind the enemy line. But then if you run into like an enemy vehicle, or if you lose any hit points or take any damage, that thing is reset, which means that even if you shoot, it's gonna reset, which is something I don't really like too much. The time jump is just really OP though. You can see that what this Dracula is doing right now is literally just sitting out in the open. There's a replay by a subscriber, by the way. If you want to send in replays, make sure to DM them to me on Discord. Just DM them to me, anakinblitz YT, hashtag 4851. It's always in the description below. So now you can see he's gonna start flanking over here, and the nice thing about having this ability is you don't have to be too like mindful of your hit points. Well, you still have to be mindful of your hit points, of course, but you can make mistakes. You can make mistakes, and you can even be punished severely by those mistakes, and it doesn't even really matter because you have this time jump ability that basically lets you restore all of those hit points that you just lost within those 5 seconds, the last 5 seconds. So just one thing you need to keep in mind is you need to do it in time before the 5 seconds is up. Otherwise, you'll just go back in time to a time when you already lost your hit points. For example, if you got nuked by 183 and you're planning on using this console, maybe you want to get one shot out first, count to 5, because you don't want to like wait an extra 1 second, because then you won't be able to restore those hit points for the rest of the game. So you can see that this Dracula is still on his first life in this game, which is pretty insane. And he's already racking up the damage to nearly 2k, and he still has a time jump consumable with him if he needs it, like if he were to get nuked by like the enemy T-49, for example. So those are for medium tanks. Now for light tanks, I'm not exactly sure what the other consumable is, but I know the Sheridan for a fact, and the T-92U1. Okay, there, just right there, it shows the time jump. So he used the time jump to not only restore his hit points when he fell off and got shot, but also to get back up on the hill to get one other shot onto the enemy vehicles and then back down. That's another use for the time jump consumable. So light tanks, I know the Sheridan for a fact has the consumable, that blood trail, that lets you make enemy vehicles basically like lose hit points for every like meter they travel. And I'll go over the exact stats that they do, because I'm just going over this off of my mind, but I'll go over the exact things like after when we get back into the garage. So I'm not sure what the other light tanks have. I'll check that later. So now we're gonna, oh, I know the other light tanks have the invisible one. I know the Vickers has it, because that's what I've been playing recently. So, oh, and the T-49. He just went invis right now. So now for tank destroyers, I'll be showing a replay in the FV2 and 5v183. Actually, nah, this video is already long enough. I'll show that replay in another video, though. It's a really crazy replay. Another crazy damage replay. But anyways, what the TDs have, they have 2 abilities as well. You can see that the time jump just used right there. But the 2 abilities on the tank destroyers, there's the one that the Sheridan has, which is blood trail. That one makes it so that you basically practically immobilize the tank, because every like meter they travel will make them lose hit points, so that can be really OP in a lot of situations. And then the other ability that tank destroyers have is the ability that I think it's called like Hunter's Mark or something like that. It basically makes it so that all of your allies, including yourself, get a special damage bonus to the enemy tank that you're targeting. I forget how much exactly it is. I'm pretty sure it's like 50 or 60%, or it might be 100%. Again, I'll check when I get back to the garage, but basically what they do is it makes it so that you can nuke people completely. It maybe it doubles your damage or something that you do. So when you have that activated, you're able to completely wreck enemies. And you can see once again with this time jump consumable that he's being really OP. See right there, he just revived all of his hit points and fixed his track with the time jump. Which is another tip, by the way, is you can fix your crew and your broken modules. So if you broke, like, let's say you lost your gunner, and you don't want to use a repair kit, you can just turn on your time jump, and then you'll get back in time, and you'll have your driver revived, or your gunner, or whatever it is. So those are all of the abilities that you get for starter abilities. Now I'm going to go over the in-game abilities that you get in-game, which are the ones that you can choose, like, with those little droplet things in-game, based on how long you survive, and you get 3 lives, and you get 2 choices. I think, yeah, 1, 2, 3 actually, yeah, because you have 3 lives. I can't do my math right now, but anyway, so what are the different abilities that you're able to get? Well, there is, so the different abilities are, first of all, there's like, there's 3 different like classes or whatever, or levels. There's 1, 2, and 3, and obviously 1, 2, 3 is in order from least to greatest, like, change of ability. And ooh, that was a nice play right there. You saw in the Dracula, he just rammed the IS and then used the time jump to get out. So, anyways, what are the different abilities? And you'll see here, there's supernatural power is one of them. That one increases your engine power and your top speed, making you more fast. There's jagged shells, which increases your average damage per shot. Then there's rapid reload or rapid fire, which basically decreases your reload time and therefore increasing your damage per minute. And then those are like the abilities that change your stats, like based on numbers. And then there's some special abilities. So for level 1, there's Phantom, I think it's called, which basically makes it so that your light bulb, you know, your spotting light bulb turns on as soon as you're spotted. Usually in game there's a 3-second delay, right, until you your light bulb turns on. But this makes it so that you can immediately know when you're spotted, which means it can be really helpful when you need to know when you're spotted. It also makes it so that whenever you're behind cover and you're unspotted, instead of waiting the 10 seconds to reset your camo, it immediately makes you go invisible and disappear off of the map, not 10 seconds. So that can also be extremely helpful for like tanks, like a tank destroyer and a medium tank, tanks like that. And then there's what is the other one? Double shot is a level 3 one, but let's see. So level 1 we have here. Once I'm in the garage, I can actually show everything so I don't forget any abilities. So here we go. Okay, the Wolf Strike basically increases your ram damage to an enemy vehicle and decreases the damage taken when ramming. Then there's Last Gasp, which makes it so that when your tank gets hit, instead of killing your tank, if like basically, okay, let's just use an example. For example, you have 100 HP and T-62A shoots you. Instead of rolling 300 and finishing you off, it will bring you down to 1 HP, which means that you're able to survive for 1 more shot, basically, which can really help in a lot of situations. It's really annoying. And then there's Sixth Sense, which allows you to see the reloaded bar above all enemy vehicles. That's also really OP because you know when they're reloading. But if you're a player that's more skilled and can count all the reloads, there's really no need for that, because you can, either way, you can just, you know, like a E100 has, or like a, like an IS-4 has like around 9 to 10 seconds reload, so you can just kind of guess it. But, and you can also just count the reloads. But then there's Chain Lightning. Chain Lightning, increases your damage, on the enemy, and then it also, it's a chain basically. So for the nearest, 3 nearest enemies within a range of 60 meters, it, also deals, percentages of damage to them. And then for the level 3, or I guess they're epic, it's common, rare, and epic is how they sort them out. You have Inferno, which is my all-time favorite ability in this mode. This one is like an absolute nuke. It basically damages in all 25 meters radius of the enemy tank, 30% of your tank's current HP to damage. Which means if you're in a tank like a higher HP tank, you will absolutely nuke people out of the game. Then we have Double Shot, which is one of the things I kind of hate. I hate this, but it's really good on the Sheridan because you get double missiles. But basically it fires 2 shells per shot. Now that sounds really OP because you do double the damage, but keep in mind that your gun dispersion is way higher and your aiming time is way higher. And of course, gun dispersion and aiming time are stats that you don't necessarily want to be too high. So what's going to happen then is you're going to basically miss like half of your shots. More than half of your shots. And that's the thing I hate about Double Shot. Unless if you're going to be a tank that's literally going to be like 2 meters away from the enemy tanks, I would not use that. Except for the Sheridans, which fire missiles. And the missiles have, of course, 0 dispersion, which is kind of nice. You get really OP with double missiles. But that is the Uprising game mode for you. So I hope you kind of learned some stuff about Uprising game mode. Maybe you are looking forward to trying it out now. For those of you that have not tried it out yet, I definitely suggest doing that, because not only is this a crazy game mode to grind credits, for example, you can see the, not sure if I have any replays, or I mean games here, 212k credits, but you can get a crazy amount of credits per game, because obviously you're getting a crazy amount of damage, which means that you get a crazy amount of XP. If you still have those ×3 XP boosters from the autumn season lock boxes, perfect time to grind. I already used those on the Vicar CR, which I got from stock all the way up to fully equipped, or fully upgraded, should I say, and it's a really good way to grind your painful tanks. For example, the last Uprising, I grinded the IS-4. If you check my stats, for example, you're probably wondering why I have 5 battles in the ST1. Well, that is because I was playing an Uprising. And for those of you that don't know, Uprising is a special game mode, which means that it does not count for your stats. So you can, like, just, well, I would not suggest it, but if you really want it, you can just mess around in YOLO and have fun, because it doesn't count for your stats. But that's all I have for you guys today, so I really hope you all enjoyed this video and you learned something. Make sure to leave a comment below if you have anything to say, and if you have any suggestions for videos, and feel free to like the video if you enjoyed it. But that's basically it. So I'm trying to make my goal to 300 subs, so every single sub is greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel and you want to support, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, because it really helps out my channel like a crazy amount. So that's all I have for you guys, though. I hope you all enjoyed. I'm Anakin Blitz, and I will see you in the next one.